if you're on my YouTube page, now I'm on YouTube. Okay, so I'm streaming this with a 20-second delay on my YouTube page. All I did was click the button. Okay, so now I've got students who they're at their kid's soccer game. They're laying in bed. They're in another class. They're watching. They're on the Hangout. I'm really a big thing. It's anytime, anywhere learning. So they can watch a stream on YouTube and interact. There's a little chat window. They can interact if I'm monitoring that. There's a lot of places. I've had students that have moved out of the area and never finished their degree. They needed a class or two. I had a student that was in Boston. I have a girl that commutes from Pennsylvania that lived in Pennsylvania. I had a girl, I took the picture out, but she went to spring break. She was on spring break. She went to Prague and she got on 3:30 in the morning. She got on. I think she fell asleep at like 3:35, but she got on my class at 3:30 in the morning for Prague to prove that, hey, you know what? This can happen. You can learn. You can learn and not be in a classroom. And this to me is really cool because and I want to show you a video at the end of why I really think it's cool. But I can see who's here. I can see who's paying attention. If I decide, you know what, listen, I don't know, I've got pink eye. I don't want to be seen. All I can do is turn my camera off. Okay. So now Allie you can still hear me. I'm making the most noise, but it'll rotate because Allie's not talking. But if she were, or if anybody else was, the video would jump to her making the most noise. Okay. So I can put my camera back on. I've had to in the past, and I say this tongue in cheek, when you do live classes like this, it's live. And you never know. It's in people's homes. You never know what you're going to hear or what you're going to see. Once I actually had to eject a woman from class because she, I guess, didn't realize or forgot she was online. And I'm like, you can't say that online. You wouldn't say that in the classroom. Please, you can't use that as an adjective. No, And I have a video of that too, but I won't show it to you. And I had to, I threw her out, and then she realized, I sent an email, I'm like, by the way, can you please control, you and whoever else is in the room, control your vocabulary, you can go back in the Hangout. Only once, but it's live. You never know. You really never know what you're gonna get. But you can, if I always get every semester someone's smoke alarms beeping in the background. So if Allie gets to a point where she's rambling on too much, I can just mute her. And now, no, I muted. See, she's going banging on the. See, so now she's muted, and you can see that she's laughing. So I will go back and unmute her. I see. Okay, it's like you're in the corner. Oh, I can't. I thought I could unmute you. Okay, you can unmute yourself, Allie. Thank you for muting yourself.
Well, now just.
But, it's kind of like there are times where I've had to do that. I've had to, and not like it's someone being disruptive, but I always tell them if your kids want to see how many times you've got like 10 adults here and there's like 30 children like peeking, my kids will be faces behind me, but that's, sometimes I had to actually mute people, but only once I actually eject someone.
So I'm sorry, excuse me. So you muted her, but then you couldn't unmute her.
Yeah, I couldn't unmute her. Yeah. So I guess that's the kind of the, you realize, but you'll see, I'm going to do it again, Allie. You can see if I decide to mute her, notice how she comes up with the, it says I muted her, and everybody sees that, and she's got a little microphone on the line. Okay, so now I've said, you know what, you're talking too much, you can stop. She can unmute herself. I can then go back and do it again, or I can just go around. Okay, so, but I'm not going to do that, Allie. I'm not going to throw it. You can, thank you. Yes.
So you said, do you tell your students I'm going to be live at this time during the day?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned about somebody logging at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Is that to like watch the playback?
You could do any number of things. Does anybody want to get on now and you want to try it? So you know what? Give me we'll do it this way. Where's my text editor? This is how I do it. Give me your email address. I'll send you an invitation and the link. Anybody want to get on and try it right now? Go ahead.
It's
Okay. Anybody else? I'm sorry, KTALLY 97 gmail.com. Okay. I know I work with Rob. DDEL 1D. EL So you. Anybody else want to get on? Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh. Anybody else? All right, so this is generally what I do. Like, I'll take the emails of everybody in the class ahead of time and throw them in a text editor. So for this purpose, I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to go here, and here's my invite. Okay, so I'm going to invite people. Okay, when I hit invite, you should get an invitation. Right, and what I will then do is follow that up with an email in case it gets up in your spam or you don't get it. What I'll then do is I'll go to my email. Come on, Albert. Here's my email. I will go to those 4 people, GHO link, and then what I'll do in Chrome, somebody's, if you don't mind, don't turn down your sound, please, or use your headphones, otherwise we're going to get a big echo. I'll tell you that. I will copy. Now batting. You're a Yankees fan, you know. I always want to do that. And then I'll copy the link, and I'll post this on the learning management system. I'll post it to Blackboard and send this out as well. So now you've got an email from me, and you've got an invitation. So if you're using a mobile device, oops. If you're doing a mobile device, you could do that. So now I should see, once you click on that link.
Just curious, as you're switching screens, that's also being recorded?
No, the only thing that's being recorded is my webcam.
Okay.
So I can choose to share my screen.
Okay, so that would be.
Yes. So you know what? It's my favorite example is, you know, how many times I could have face-to-face with a hybrid. I can't be in class. I want to share my screen. My kid has pink eye, which is like the worst thing because they have to stay home. I have to stay home, all because of a disease that doesn't do anything except make your eye turn pink. But the school says, nope, not till you're better. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my entire screen. And now if you are in the Hangout, if I present this to everyone, let me go back to, oops, no, my email. So I go back to here, right? And now if you're following me on the YouTube stream, you would see this. So you would hear my voice and you would see what I'm presenting. Okay, so webinars, virtual presentation, I'm going to show you all this stuff, but this is huge, being able just to show your screen. And let's say I'm trying to teach you, oh, here's how you save a file in Keynote. You can see this, and because we're on YouTube, you can play it back to your heart's content. So, you know, I can record up to 8 hours at one time on YouTube. So all this stuff, if you go back and look at the YouTube stream, it's all being recorded. On the top left here, there's this little green arrow. Let me move this over a bit. Right here. And I can choose like a certain application to share. I can share the entire screen. It looks a little old like the Matrix when you first do it, but it's great, you know, for there are times where I don't understand how, you know, I need help with this, or, you know, hey, 5 people have the same type of question. No. You know what? I found that Berkeley blocks, if you're using a mail application, you have to go through a web browser to get to your email. Because I found that they're blocking that.
The other alternative is to say, I don't have students in the class, I just do the demonstration.
You're the only person in the class.
I could just turn the video camera around
Mhm.
instead of sharing the screen.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm using one just for the audience, but if you use your own webcam, for me, I'm an only child, so like I can't get enough of myself on camera. But yeah, you could do webcams, you could do lectures, you could do all this. You don't need to go out and buy Camtasia or try and use iMovie, record. And if it's for your students and it's you know, at the end there's a little bit of gobbledygook at the beginning or at the end, it's so that. But the most part of that, here's my content. That's all, and it's free. That's the best part. Yes, sir.
So I hate to ask the question. So do you tell them I'm meeting at this time?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to get to that. The next part is I've got all the how I do this stuff, right? So, like I said, that's what it looks like. and people get smaller as I add more. The biggest thing they changed last March, and they went up to 25 people, because all of a sudden, I'm counting people, I'm like, I had 17 people. And I'm like, oh, it's late, you know, we count it again, 70 people. So Google kind of quietly said, we're gonna give you more people, which is huge, because my maximum 20 student class at St. Peter's, I can now fit everybody in the Hangout. So I don't have to say, hey, by the way, you 5, can you watch on the YouTube stream, and I'll get you in at 9:30.
If I wanted to capture all the attendance for something like this, seeing all of the thumbnails isn't really going to help me. Is there something that would like index their names?
Yeah, when you hover over each person, it tells you who they are.
You just hover.
Yeah, and then, well,
You can do like list view with names.
well, depending on how you invite them, there's nothing that would hold them. But actually, if you look at the group chat, you could see who joined. Move that over a little bit. You could see who joined the chat.
Okay.
So you could use that. I've done that in the past. But yeah, because I take for granted I know who's going to be in there. But if you didn't, you could use the group chat as a way to do that.
Okay.
All right. So let me get a bigger screen there. Any other questions about the actual how it looks? I got to tell you, it's really cool. It's really cool to do this. It's really cool to sit in your pajamas in the basement and teach and get paid to do it. The same way I would be in a classroom and doing this just like I'm doing now. You know, and that's what what some people still struggle with. The same thing. I'm doing the same thing. You're learning the same content. And I always tell people, please tell me how you're not learning right now. I'm waiting. Come on, tell me how you're not learning right now, because you are. You know, and you're doing it in a spot. I've had students, you know, they're in the class and they're laying in bed next to you, know, all of a sudden the camera's pointing to them, they fell asleep. All right, better than in class, you know. And then, you know, they're still, the Hangout's over and the camera's still pointing up at the ceiling because they're out cold, you know. But I think it also gives a certain dynamic, you know, it's a very real type of class. Like there's no kind of holds barred. Everybody's, you know, this is what you see is what you get. There's no, you know, I've got kids, or I'm eating dinner, I'm cooking dinner. Like I said, I'm at a soccer game. I'll tell you, I'll say I got one of, you know, you never know where you're going to find people. So Google is changing. They're getting rid of the, they had an API interface where you could third parties interface with them. That's going away because I think in preparation for this move toward Meet, which is their new platform. So a lot of this stuff is going to go away. So that like the draw, there was a whiteboard. I could integrate a whiteboard in there, which was really cool. And Google said, but at the same time, Google says it, what are we gonna do? You know, Google, I'm mad. I'm one of like 1 billion people who doesn't like this or something. You know, it's like Google controls the world, so they do what they do. But at least for now, it's. Oh sure, yeah, you know, but it's been good. There's a third party as a whiteboard, you know, like this, but they're not allowing anybody to integrate, you know, your third party applications with after the 25th with Google Hangout. So, you know, but again, they're the boss. So, anybody else about the actual screen before I go back to the presentation? And certainly, if you have anything, just jump in. I mean, I've got stuff I want to say, but your questions are more important than what I have to say. Okay, I'm gonna leave Allie. You're gonna still hang around, right? I'm gonna scoot over and talk some more. That's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We talked about that. Okay, so like I said, now I've got a repository on YouTube of every class I've ever done online. Okay, because as I'm doing this, it's still recorded, and it's going to record up to and stream up to 8 hours. Okay, so you could watch stream if you want, and you know I tell people if you can't make it, you know, but you still want to watch or you still want to be part of it, you could watch the stream. You can watch stream on YouTube. You got to be careful about. I warn them, if you're using your cell phone, think about data minutes if you're not on Wi-Fi, because you know your data is going to go real quick. You got to think about your battery, especially if you're using a webcam. But you know, this is a nice repository. I've got all my classes. I've got PD stuff. Everything is kind of nice and one-stop shopping. You know, and the integration with Google and YouTube makes it so simple. I've done it. Everything that I would do for a class, I've already done already. Right. So now, like I said, we're streaming online. So how I use this? Yes.
You're not actually broadcasting that.
The camera, yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not really paying attention to what I'm going to. It's okay. So my intention was not to broadcast the slides. So first week of class, we do a meet and greet. Now it sounds very pedagogically, nice. It used to be called the Practical Google Hangout, but meet and greet sounds, that sounds kind of cool. It's an opportunity for that first part of interaction. It's, hey, I'm a real person. You can see me on camera. I'm real. Oh, I can see you all are real too. And you can talk to one another. Hey, I had class with you 2 semesters ago. Oh, I know you. Or, you work in the same school district as me. And it puts a name with a face. Okay. It provides everybody with an opportunity to test the audio and the video, make sure everything works. How do I get the invitation? So what I did with you, here's the invitation. How do I get on? How do I see myself? All that kind of stuff. Let's get it worked out now. So when we do the real thing, I don't have to waste time. Oh, I can't get on. I had 2 students in January. This is how they spent the meet and greet. They did this. Because it's something, but then I'll get it fixed. And they did. They at least, oh, I know what I did wrong. So we started the real hangout. 3 weeks later, there was no issue, right? So, but even though it's meant to be practice and get everything out, it's, hey, how are you? Anybody have any questions for me? You've looked at the syllabus, you looked at all the course materials. Anybody want to ask me a question? Not type it, ask me something. And there are some that'll, ask, or say, hey, listen, I'm getting married midway through the semester. I had to do a class for one person a couple years ago. She walked into the class, the first night of class, 38 weeks pregnant. I took the syllabus, ripped it up. So this gives you an opportunity to say to me, hey, here's what's going on. There's, and I'm cool with that. But otherwise, I don't see them in person. I did like the first night of class, I would do or I would do the first week, I would have like a orientation meeting. Oh, who's got another class? Who can't make it? This is a web class. You're not coming in person. So let's do a combination. I do video, then I also do this as a way for people to see, this is who we are. If you have any questions, certainly ask me. I'm sorry? No. Oh, okay. So in the Insight class, what I then do is around week 3 or 4, we'll do the actual online class. So I like to give them stuff that's provocative. Stuff that's going to force them to open their mouths. So I'm going to say things, or I'm going to use stuff as a means of discussion. And I have I'll give them some classroom management settings. If they participate and they're in the Hangout, nothing is due the following week. And it's the only assignment they have to do that week. So they like it because there's a little bit of a buffer. And, there's stuff due the week of the Hangout. But if you come to the Hangout, there's nothing due the following week. So if they don't, they have to watch a video and complete the worksheet, which is pretty much to write about 3 scenarios I give them. And then if they didn't attend, they submit that. Right? I give them a grade of 1 point out of 1 if they attend, but I don't count the grade in their average. Don't tell anybody, Allie. I don't count this, but it shows up on Blackboard. So it's, oh, I kept track of who's here. How do I do that? I'll either run my mouse over who's on the bottom, or I'll go back and watch the video and just make sure I got everybody who's in attendance. Okay? So it's just a way that we're all keeping track of who's here and who's not. That's for the Insight class. For the school admin class, I give them this assignment called Who Gets Hired. In August, you interviewed 15 people for 7 teaching jobs. You got to pick 7 people. You got your notes in front of you. Go to it. Now, last summer, I did this class in June. I start my classes at 9 o'clock at night. I tell people, put the kids to bed, have your dinner, sit down, be comfortable, and let's go to work. It was 10:30. I'm like, guys, I got to get up to work the next day. I'm exhausted. And they were going, like, no, we're not going to fire this one. I don't want this one. We couldn't come to a consensus on 7 people to hire. And this was online. This was one of those where it was like, oh, this is wonderful. Because if we're in the classroom, we do the same exact thing. We'd be having the same discussion with the same tenacity, but we did it online. And I just said to them ahead of time, vote, tell me who you want. And then we said, oh, well, one of you, what about Herbert Brown wasn't a good thing? And this was I use this as a springboard for discussion. And some of the people that are in the assignment are beyond provocative. You could find someone, who, like you wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, but there are a few people like, yeah, I want this person to teach. They've got experience or whatever it was. They started fighting it out. And that was great because they're doing it online. It could have been in a discussion board, sure. It could have been, like in a chat, yeah, but this was as in your face as it could be. And I had people, people flailing their arms, and all of a sudden, I might have to mute a couple of times, but they really got into it. That was the cool part. They were really into this. And what's even better, as the worst it was, is just I just want to know that you're here. It's very difficult to penalize if they can, or something happens technically and they can't attend, whatever. So I don't really penalize a lot, but they got into it. They work more for this than they do anything else, And when I first started doing this, people were like, I signed up for an asynchronous class. I don't want to do all this meeting at 9 o'clock on a Thursday. But this class, this session, I couldn't get it to work though. They're like, can we do this again? And I was like, wait, I'm recording that. Can we say that again? Like, wow, you like, first of all, didn't have any work in the next week, but they actually enjoy the interaction with one another. It's a good group of students. So it works well for stuff like this. Virtual presentations, as you were asking before, even if it's just you. I did in the hybrid class. I was dedicating almost 4 in-class meetings for presentations. Like, it's just dumb. You come into class, you're gonna sit here and listen to other people speak. Why can't we do this online? So a 20-person class, I said, here, 1 week you 10, 1 week you 10. We're going through the presentation. You have 5 minutes to give a synopsis. Put your slides up, share your slides, and boom, there you go. And you don't have to come to Jersey City. They like that even more. So you're presenting, and you know what? For the people that are, can't get up in front of a room, which I find funny, everybody's a teacher. They can't get up in front of the room and present. This, for some reason, was so not threatening. Even though I was recording it, not threatening. Up here, I can't do it. But behind here, sitting in my basement, no problem. I'll talk for a half hour. And that really, goes to that type of learning style. You can record your own notes and do stuff like that. You can record if there's something that you're teaching that's technical and you want students to be able to go back to it and look at it. Don't pay for Camtasia, or don't try to do it on iMovie or Windows Movie Maker. Do stuff like this. Right? And if you're a Google Apps school, this is included in the package, and it won't cost you a dime. I'm a big fan of career awareness. Anything I teach, this is my class at Burn Copy, a bunch of freshmen. And they were good because they knew I was taking a picture. I think it was for this presentation. But I had the kid on the TV is I taught this kid computer science. He graduated in 2008, and he co-founded the Players Lounge. It's an internet site where you can play FIFA soccer for money. That's, I'm so glad he took the AP computer science that I taught him, and that's what he's doing with his life. But he's very successful, and I said, listen, I want you to come talk to my class. I can't get to forward that online. Oh, okay. So that camera, I put right up here. I put my computer on 3 boxes of Rice Krispie treats. That was what I had. So I could get the wire to reach. And every room at Bergen has a 7-inch television. And boom, here he is. He's in his apartment. Like, I'm sitting on my couch. I got up like 20 minutes ago, and he's talking to these students about, here's what I did with my life. I went to Stevens. I got a degree in engineering, and here's what I do. I could have never made this happen from 10:13 to 10:52 on a Tuesday if to get him in person. Okay, but now I've got a repository. By the way, hey parents, you can watch it too. I froze him on the screen, so it wasn't going back and forth. Because the kids realize, like, if they, they're freshmen. If I do this or something, the screen's gonna, flip back and forth. So I froze him on the screen, and it was great. They had, they asked him questions like, oh wow, this is really cool. And of course he's telling them, we're gonna have other games soon, and maybe I'll give out free pass or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, these kids are not 18 yet. You can't tell them it's okay to go on your site yet. But again, you get what you get. But for an online class, you want to have someone come in and teach. To try and get someone to come to Jersey City on a weeknight at 7 o'clock, impossible. Hey, can you come on? Even if you're face-to-face or hybrid, in a room like this, you do exactly that. We're doing, here's a perfect setup. We're going to do a presentation about something that maybe is, I had 2 FBI agents in my school admin class 3 years ago. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Everybody loved it, but I did it in person, online. Hey, wherever you are, I need you for a half hour. And people are willing to do that. I know I would be. I would love to do that, because it doesn't require me to go anywhere, which is huge. And which transitions, by the way, to this. And this is a free one for today. Do PD like this. We started it, I have to say, and I'll say publicly, and I'm not getting paid to say publicly, St. Peter's was very good to me. They paid for my QM training. I went through all the way up to Master Reviewer. And so once or twice a semester, we have like a running workshop series So I'll share online teaching or QM or this stuff, Google Hangouts, YouTube Live. But I'm like, I'm not coming down here today to do it. I'm going to do it from my office, which I do. So I'm at the top of the TV in this room. I've never been in this room. I know I've been in the building, but never in that room. But I sit at the top of the TV, and that's what I see. I see people gathered around a table, and boom, you know, I'm talking about this, that, whatever, and now we do all of them like this. So the cool part was when I did one of them in February, there was a nun who was in Morristown. I had an adjunct who was in someplace else. Like, I couldn't get here to do this kind of stuff, but now I have the opportunity to sit and absorb something that I didn't know before. I can learn something new. I don't have to leave my office, you know? So why can't we do PD like that? You know, especially if you're depending on where you are with QM and what, you know, kind of training. Perfect. You know, even just for sharing, it's right there. You know, and now there's a repository of all these PD sections. I can't make it. I can go and watch the rerun. Because a lot of times, how many webinars I attend, if you will, I can't see them live. Like, I can't even watch TV live anymore. Like, the only thing in my house that works is the Disney Channel. You know, but for me to watch something adult, I watch on the computer. And those of you who have kids, you understand. Like, I can't watch anything. You know, we watch Austin and Ally, and we watch not Lambert Falls. What's the name? Gravity Falls. You know, we watch all this kind of stuff, but I want to watch it when I need to. So I'll join a webinar. There's 3 webinars this week I wanted to see. I'm not doing that, but it's on demand. Now you've got on-demand PD for your institution. No cost, by the way. You know, especially if you're a GAFE school. It takes practice. It takes planning. This is not something, the first time I tried it, thank God we were at the point where I streamed on YouTube, because all I did was swear, because it didn't work. And I'm like, I don't get it, because I had people in 5 different, you know, hangouts are like, wait, I'm in a room, but no one else here. So imagine a class of 20 students in 5 different rooms, like, well, where's everybody else? Where's the teacher? Because I was in a different one. Disaster. Finally, after a while, after practicing, after realizing, wow, I need to practice before I actually do this. That's so much better. It's so much easier. It took a couple of different tries. If I do a hybrid or face-to-face, first night's always practice. Bring your laptop, bring a set of headphones, plug them in. Let's try exactly what I did now. Let's try it together. The picture is absolutely staged, okay? But they did bring a laptop at the end. I'm just like, okay, I need you all to look real serious. This was like maybe 2 years ago. Look real serious. I look like you're focused. I think it'd be great. But that's what I did. So let's make sure before we do this for real, we get it. This is how, oh, this is a piece of cake. Or wait a minute, I didn't get the invitation. Oh, it went to my spam folder. Whatever you need to do to figure it out, let's do it here. For the online, that's what the meet and greet's for. You know, it sounds nice, but really it's to make sure that you know what you're doing. Technically, you don't need much. You have to have a set of headphones. And your Apple earbuds could be fine. Just because you heard it before, you start to hear an echo. Because now another microphone is picking up the sound, and you get that feedback loop. So I always tell people, please use headphones. I've got ones from Best Buy. They're USBs. They're like $35. I like the fact that it's a boom microphone and it's closer to my mouth. You don't get that area sound. But your Apple earbuds or any earphones will do just fine. This is the webcam. It's a Logitech. It cost me $100. It's not bad. It's good for a wide area. If I'm doing audio stuff like this is ideal. So I don't have to try and bounce it on my computer. But you know, this one works pretty good. I've noticed a little bit of choppiness with the audio when it goes over to YouTube. I want to see if it happens today. But otherwise that works pretty good. And like I said, in a class like that, I put it here. In a room like this, I try to put it somewhere on the top maybe. So it's weird because you're looking at the screen, but when you're looking at, I was doing it before, you're looking at the side of my head. You know, ideally this would be in the same place where the screen is. So let me just end with this. I've said, you know, anytime, anywhere learning. You know, and the audio is a little bit, it sounds like I'm talking like it's like a 45 record at 33 speed, but I apologize for that, but I just want you to get an idea of really how we do anytime, anywhere learning, or how we roll in my class.
Now, I'm sorry, I want to interrupt for a minute because I'm the very good. You're going to say driving.
No, it's exactly
I'm sorry again. And you're in the car, and there are times where I've had streets that go in the park and you go crazy. I'm like, dear Lord, she's driving because I see the lane, I see the background moving. I got this point out there that learning really can happen anywhere. Please don't get an idiot.
Yeah, and please don't get an that.
Yeah, not true.
Careful.
You know, I'm like watching you and I'm like stressed watching you.
She was in the car. Swear, because I noticed. She said she was in the movie theater. She said, you know, because I see her walking, and then all of a sudden I see her. She's in the car. I'm like, she's in the car, but I'm like, the scenery moving behind her. She's in the car. But you know what's also nice about I like that clip too is that that's the kind of with this particular group of students. They are, you know, they're very open to this kind of stuff. You know, sometimes you get a group that it's, oh, I don't know about this, but they're very open to it, and really harness the fact that you can do this kind of wherever you want. So I would be more than happy to answer questions. I know Allie is still, let me put Allie back up on the screen. I know she's still floating in cyberspace. If you have any, from a student's perspective, if you want to ask her anything, we'd be more than happy to entertain. Yes.
So the number of screens limit now is 25.
25. It used to be 15. They upped it to 25. And I think this new Google Meet, their new platform, I think is going to be, they got to compete with like GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, and all that kind of stuff. So at the moment it's 25. Our hybrid and web class is capped at 20, so now it's perfect. Where it used to be, what do I do with these students that I can't fit? I had a real problem with that. And how do I say, by the way, well, you're in for the first half hour, but then you gotta go. And then, you know, it's, you know, that was a big problem. And I'm grateful that Google went to 25.
And then Google Meet.
It's an attention now. I think it's meet.google.com. But it's something I know I'm going to have to move, if not this summer, probably by the fall. Once they get their acts together, I'm going to have to start going that direction. Somebody else over here was waving. Yes, ma'am.
Whenever you move your video to YouTube, is there anything that you can use to transcribe what's happening in chat? Or is the chat just
The chat, I have not found anything because I had that question come up because I was doing something. Like in a setting like this, I have to remember. Oh yeah, open the chat. I have to look to see if anybody did anything. I'll either screenshot it. I thought I remember being able to do it at one point, but I know even on the YouTube, like I can't capture the YouTube live once the YouTube site finishes. Let me just throw that up for so you can see what that looks like. Allie, I'm going to mute you a second because I think I'm going to get feedback.
Okay.
That's really cool too. Actually, I'm going to mute me. I'm not going to mute you. I'll be right back. You know, a couple of minutes, and then all of a sudden it's there, it's done. You know, it's already been converted, it's on YouTube, and I can say to the class, you missed the class, go watch the rerun. It's done. You don't have to do anything. I mean, now granted, it is what it is, so if you fumbled with anything, or if I walk into the camera, you know, there's no editing, I don't go back and change it, but for my purposes, it's fine. Yes.
And I know you showed there was a way to have the screen just staying on view, so that way if somebody makes a noise, it wouldn't switch to
Yep.
them. You
So
can still hear the people though, like if they had a question for you.
yeah, you know what? Let me do that with Allie. I'm going to present Allie to everyone.
Hello.
So now it doesn't matter, even if I make big noises, it doesn't matter. She's stuck until I unstick her. Right? So Allie, you are now the center of attention with about 25 people or so.
Great, you can all see me.
So, but you could do that. Like if she was going to present something, I could lock it on her. She could either talk or then subsequently share her screen. The Google is weird like that. Whoever makes the most noise, whatever that noise is, gets the big picture. You know, so if you're presenting and I sneeze, you're gonna get the tail end of my sneeze. You know, and that's one of those. It's Google, they can do that. You know, so but until I change this, let me take Allie off the stop presenting. Okay, so now we're back to switching all around. Yes.
So for attendance purposes,
Mhm.
you can scroll over and
Mhm.
capture those who are
Mhm.
attending live
Mhm.
synchronously, but what about those who watch it later and?
It depends how you set up the YouTube live. You can capture analytical data, but you might not be able to actually get the who unless you force them to say, hey, by the way, just type your name in on the chat page. You know, it's not like there's it's not like I have anybody pre-register. I don't have the capability to pre-register. So I may not know. I could do a Hangout, say I'm just going to talk about random for 2 hours. And if you go on my Hangout, here's the link. But I might not know you're necessarily there if there was like a lot of people, unless I force you to say, hi, but here's my name. You know, like I could capture, there's stuff analytically I can capture, but I haven't been successful in getting that data then over to say, hey, these are people like, and it's not like a go-to webinar where it's, you know, you pre-register or something like that. But for my purposes, for the 20 or 17 people in the class, you know, as they sign in, I'll check off on my second computer sitting next to me. I'll just, oh, yeah, Rob's here, you know, and oh, wait a minute, I don't remember what the heck was that girl's name again? You know, I can just hover over, you know, and see who they are. Because for some of these times, it's the first time I've seen them live. I'm like, yeah, who are you? Are you in my class? Oh, yeah, you're that person. I might have emailed you 20 times, but I'm putting the face in the name. So that's how I do it. Any other questions I can answer? Let me just throw my contact back up there. If you think of anything, you know, on the way home or anything, just, you know, holler. I'd be more than happy to answer questions. If you want me to pop into one of your Hangouts, you want help, reach out. I'd be more happy to do that just because, you know, I can do that from the comfort of my basement, you know, or my office or anywhere in between. So thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and I'll stick around if anybody's got any questions.
What was the, originally you put a URL up there?
For the slides?
Yeah.
Sure. The top one is the slides with the QR code. The bottom is my YouTube channel. And if you captured the slides with the QR code, or you have the slides, you'll have the link in it for the YouTube channel stuff.
So I teach math.
Okay.
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 I've been trying to find something too, because math online seems to be, you know, really fun to do. And all of my students, when they take my classes, they always ask the question, well, can I come sit in one of your lectures? I'm like, well, no, because my lecture class is full.
Yeah.
He said,
You're my
on
online
that
class.
Yeah.
But, well, I'll drop and I'll sit on the floor. And like, so I've been trying to find something, some sort of situation where I could like maybe 1 day or 2 days a week, or about an hour and a half, 2 hours, almost do a lecture.
Yeah.
People can log in. I don't know if this would be.
You could, you know, one of a guy I work with, he plugs his iPad into his MacBook.
Okay.
He uses QuickTime and he'll record the screen on his MacBook and use that as a slate. So if you're trying to explain something, you and then you could, let me see if I can.
Yeah. Using the.
I don't have my iPad, but I know in QuickTime if you do there's a way, and I don't remember how to do it, and I'm ashamed I don't remember how to do it. You change the source of where when you do new screen recording, but then you change the source, and if you have your iPad plugged in, it comes up as a source of what you want to record.
Okay.
And then you could use any type of writing application on an iPad, and you can narrate over that, and you can actually write it on it. And that becomes something you post to YouTube.
I like this because I think what I would end up doing is like freezing it on me, where I could still have everybody like kind of join into it, and I have a whiteboard where I could, you know, kind of be in front of the board.
You could, I mean, you could do the same thing like
Yeah.
this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of tough with a short throw,
Yeah.
but if this camera was here,
Yeah.
you know, I know I have a class where there's a camera and a television on the back wall.
Yeah.
So if I'm teaching here, I can see what I'm doing on the back wall. That's ideal too. Then you could do it like this with Hangout, and as long as that the camera's focused on the whiteboard.
And if I freeze it to where it's only on me,
Mhm.
if somebody talks,
Doesn't
I'll
matter.
hear them.
Yeah,
I'll
you'll
hear
still
them.
hear everybody, right?
But it wouldn't switch to them.
Yeah, even if because even if I'm, I gotta get out of here. Even if I'm frozen on present to everyone, so even this is just me. Hey, Allie, can you say something?
Yes, hello.
See, it'll still freeze.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of an ideal thing. If you have a setup, and even quite honestly, you can take that webcam, stick it in the ceiling,
Yeah.
you know, because it's got a bracket on it. You could do that.
Yeah.
So
Like the Quality Matters website.
it's it's there, and then also the link was in there
Because
too.
I have the same headphones you have.
Uh-huh.
I guess like for me, I wouldn't really need the headphones. I could just talk like you're doing now.
You could,
But I do need to get the webcam.
yeah, or
So it'd
maybe
be
like
$100 from.
that was 99 at Best Buy, or you get a
Something.
or like a Bluetooth headset that you
yeah.
could do the same thing like that, where you've got or even a Bluetooth microphone.
Yeah.
You know, so you can have a closer proximity with what you're saying.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you're welcome. Let me get my stuff cleaned up. Hey, Allie, thanks very much. I'll be back in touch when a little bit. All right, but I got to get out of here because the next group's coming in.
Great, no problem.
Thanks again.
Quick question.